Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Recording in progress.
Yes. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning, Steve. Welcome, everybody, to the Trying to Be Better podcast. My name is Joel.
And I'm Steve.
And this is a podcast.
I feel like that's really coming together.
Really coming together. That's our tagline. That's as podcasty as you're going to get today, folks.
That's right.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm groggy. I'm so tired.
You were out rocking and rolling all night.
I was out rocking and rolling all night. And
How'd it go? How was the
napping
show?
all day. The show was great, man. We actually there's a bunch of people came out and the Steer Creek band came out, which is pretty awesome. They were the group that I was practicing with before I got asked to join Exile.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and they came out and stuck around. It was cool. It was nice to see those guys. They're cool people, and they got another guitar player, and I think he's I talked with him briefly, and I think he's probably ultimately more what they were looking for. So
right, this was the kind of country outfit.
Yeah.
Was happening.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, it was some of our, we actually kind of have a regular crowd now. It's been showing up for a few gigs, and so yeah, it was a good time.
You have fans. We
have fans, yeah, which is nice.
Yeah,
it's fun the keg's kind of a hard room because it's a big room.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there aren't a ton of people there, then it feels like you're playing to a barn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where, there's some people kind of aware that there's a band playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great. But yeah, it was fun. It's a good time. And,
nice.
I got solid 3 hours and 45 minutes of sleep.
Ooh.
And then woke up at the same time I always do and got up and kind of putzed around and then was actually watching Formula One race and started to nod off. And so I'm like, I'm going back to bed. So I did.
Good for you.
Yeah,
rest is radical, man.
Rest is radical.
Yeah, it's okay to rest. It's okay to slow down.
It's okay to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was chuckling because, as you can see, I haven't showered.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know for the Zoom, like whether or not you've showered. I definitely look like I haven't showered.
Well, that's funny. See, there's perception for you.
Yeah.
Because if you can't, if you're not looking at me thinking, Jesus, what happened to Steve?
I can hear it in your voice a little bit.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a Monday or a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plus, what I've discovered is that when I sing the high harmonies and the rock and roll, I'm really abusing my vocal cords.
Yeah.
I'm a natural tenor or baritone and singing high harmonies. And Phil Lesh just entered the chat.
I was gonna say though, you can't really do the Stones vocals an octave down, really.
No, you can't. Well, I mean, I sing high harmonies. Just kind of that's just how it kind of comes out. We've never actually rehearsed vocal parts, and sometimes it shows. That video of I think it's in the Long Strange Trip documentary where the Dead are rehearsing Candyman.
Oh yeah,
and they're actually practicing singing 3-part harmony, and working out the parts. Yeah, we've never done that.
I recall Jerry and Phil getting really frustrated with Bob.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Like,
dude,
this is the part you sing,
right? He's like, maybe.
We'll see.
Pathologically anti-authoritarian, even with his own bandmates, which I respect. So
yeah. So the show was good. It had a good house, good crew.
It's a lot of fun, good times.
That's awesome, man.
Had by all. Yeah.
I missed the show because Kirsten and I went to yet another touring Broadway musical last night.
What did you see?
We saw the Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill.
Okay, how was that?
That was it was fantastic.
Do you have to? Because my mom went to it, and we haven't debriefed on it yet.
I would be interested to hear your mom's take.
Because she didn't
I mean,
know anything about Alanis Morissette, nothing. And there's
oh,
no reason why she should,
I can recall the album being really, pop. I liked it, but I know like my brother's girlfriend back in the 90s really loved it, and I always associate that album with her.
Hmm.
And it was just like it was cool. That music is great, but I was very curious, like how are they gonna tie this into a story for 2 hours?
Right.
And it basically became sort of a modern family drama through the album. And they
So it
touched
had a
on,
plot through line.
yeah, it did. It was like, this family that's disjointed and mom and dad are having issues. And, so addiction comes up, sexual assault comes up,
Wow.
um,
Feel good hit of the summer.
expectations. Yeah, it was a lot. But then, so it's like it starts out with this picture perfect family, kind of like, American Beauty, like the picture perfect
Oh,
family,
on the
everything,
surface.
everything kind of falls apart. And then they kind of just accept all their flaws at the end.
Hmm.
Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody. But it was the, the actress who played, the mother. I have the playbill right here. Heidi Blickenstaff. I want her name to be sung through the internet. She was unbelievably good.
Okay.
She fucking killed it. It was so great. And the first act, I was kind of like, okay. And then the second act was like, just, punched you in the face. So
Oh,
if you're anybody out there that's in a town where Jagged Little Pill is touring, spend the money, go see it. It's a good time.
hmm. Okay. I have to admit, just being like I was vaguely aware that that album existed.
Yeah.
Because like when I was walking through a place where today's alternative hits were playing, it was playing
Yeah.
on that. That's kind of my
Right.
association with it. So I thought, well, cool. They turned it into a Broadway thing. So I'm glad to hear that it's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's, I think that the idea was sort of birthed out of, Green Day's American Idiot musical, which was a huge hit. And they're like, well, maybe
Uh,
we can turn this into a thing. And they did, and it was really good. It was, you know, it wasn't it's like a jukebox musical, like it's hit music being sort of inserted into a story, but
right. Oh,
it
okay. That's a
was
good
so
term.
there's some holes, like it's
Right.
not like it wasn't it was like
They
trying to
had to come up with a plot to fit the songs.
yes. And then some of it was very clever, some of it I thought didn't really stick to me, but the the overall experience was worth it, like
Hmm.
the overall experience was really cool to me.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Yeah. I think that I was Kirsten and I were walking away. I'm like, I've spent more time in the last year seeing theater, whether it's local theater and touring theater, than I have in years past. And it's nice. It's nice to like
Be an audience member.
yes, it's very nice to be an audience member. It's when you're in the throes of making and producing theater at the college level, I think it's sometimes can get a little like, do I love this? Do I like this even?
Right.
Like
Uh-huh.
it's not that I don't, but but yeah, so it was nice to kind of have those little boosts every once in a while to see stuff. I need to do more of that, I think. I think if in line with the name of our show here, like trying to be better, I think I can be a better theater goer and appreciator because I think it actually inspires, helps. Like, I'm doing a rehearsal this after. I'm doing a stage reading for the Angels Theater Company of a new play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we have our first rehearsal this afternoon, so I'm pretty stoked on that.
This is news to me. I didn't realize you were working with them again.
Yeah, it kind of happened, and then we scheduled some stuff, and then the show happened at work, so it was like I didn't really know if it was going to happen or not, but it is going to happen.
Can you talk about it? Or is
Yeah,
it
it's
still?
so it's I don't know. I should. I mean, I can. Do I know?
Do you know what you're
Do I,
talking about yet?
do I know what I'm talking about? Is the real question. Um, Yeah, it's a new play called Seeking Nietzsche,
Ooh.
about Friedrich Nietzsche, the
Uh-huh.
what is he, German philosopher. It's a new play. It's by the Angels. It's put on by the Angels Theater Company. I don't have the playwright's name off the top of my head, but it's a new play and it's a staged reading, so it's not going to be like a full production. But we're going to have a few rehearsals to sort of read through it. And I love being a part of stage readings and new plays because there's not this emphasis of it's going to be fully produced. They're just doing this to kind of get the playwright to hear it, and they'll change it and stuff like
Oh,
that. So it's like it's being a part of something coming together. So,
that's
but
cool.
we're gonna have a. I should pull up the time here. They're gonna have. Oh boy, I'm not prepared at all, as you can tell.
As soon as you said Nietzsche, I immediately heard the Monty Python. Nietzsche was a philosopher,
What's that for? Is that from
meaning of life,
Meaning of Life?
where the middle-aged couple is getting the conversation cards.
Seeking Nietzsche by Marcia Epic Harris. We're going to be reading this on Sunday, May 7th at 2 p.m. at the Turbine Flats. So,
Oh, hmm.
yeah. So it'll be good. We're going to have a couple rehearsals and then we'll read it for the public. It'll be great. But it's nice.
Nice.
It's like
That's
being,
interesting.
yeah, it is interesting.
I wouldn't mind going to that. I like
Yeah, I'll
things.
try
I
to
like
share it out
stuff.
there to the people. But,
Yeah,
you got to do those little things to kind of keep the
the
keep
juice
the
is
heart
flowing.
the juices flowing, the heart beating.
Hmm. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. You're out. You're doing the art thing.
I'm gonna do some local theater again. And plus, this is the we should have Timothy Scholl on, the director, Timothy Scholl, who directed me in the Bonhoeffer play a year ago,
Yes,
is
which
directing
again
this.
was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
slowly chewing through a biography of him. Did I tell you that?
yeah, I think you mentioned it
It's
before.
huge. It's very thick and it's a thick book and it's very dense reading.
Right. Hmm.
So,
Yeah, so Timothy Scholl's directing it, and you know, it's one of those things where I guess I don't know. Maybe this sounds shitty, but it's kind of like when your primary work is making theater, and then you're like somebody asks you to do more of it. You're kind of like, is it worth? Do I want to invest that time? Is it gonna be? But when this guy asks me to do something, I'm
you
like,
get excited.
yeah, he's just a really
Hmm.
great, and Angels is doing great stuff, and Tim Scholl is a really great person to work with, and so it's like as an actor, you're like, oh, that'll be a delight,
Right.
like that'll be
And that's
time
where
well
the gravy
spent.
is at. That's
Yeah,
the cat that's like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
yeah. Ooh, there's a philosophical bomb right
Right.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. Like if it doesn't make you go, oh fuck yeah, I want to do that, then I mean some things you kind of have to like grocery shopping. Yeah.
yeah. There's the
Or
shoveling shit part of life.
yeah, right, exactly. Sometimes you chop wood, carry water.
Yeah,
Spend a lot of time doing that and hopefully, as we get older and smarter, you can find some joy in chopping wood and carrying
hmm,
water, and B, have to do less of that
yeah.
and get to do more of the things that you actually want to do. And not everybody's in that position, and I appreciate that.
Mm.
I've
Yeah, I
certainly been in that position.
yeah, I'm trying to work with, and I think I mentioned this last week, but it's come to fruition this week of like if it's if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. But if it's not a hell yes, it doesn't have to be a fuck all you people no.
Right. It can just be like, "Man, I don't think so, but thanks.
Yeah.
That's not for me."
Yeah, that's the
Mhm.
balance I don't have, I think, right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and where does that come from? Does that come from fear?
Absolutely. I was sitting in this
Yeah.
very chair with my
Like, I don't
therapist
want to do that, so then I have to make you people bad.
yeah, because I'm realizing that I have a lot of toxic people pleasing tendencies, you know?
Now, don't stop right there. Well, folks,
Why?
it's been
You
a great
asked.
podcast. It's been a great podcast. And
This is what we do, man.
I know. I just don't want to talk about it.
Oh, hey, if you're not ready to go there, that's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Joel, I'm a grown man. I can take it.
I am having a really interesting realization the last couple weeks of like I need to I need to see clearly how my people pleasing and silencing my own healthy boundaries and no's have then later on put me in a position to be resentful and miserable.
Yeah, that's the worst.
You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm reconciling some of that, and some of it is bringing out like you try to have boundaries after you've already, missed the deadline of saying no to something. It's like that's where the whole like screw you people. That's where I feel
Wait,
like I
say that
have to be
again. You've said yes, and then you're turn the corner from that conversation and go, wait a minute, I don't want to do that.
exactly,
Yeah.
like you miss the exit. And I'm realizing like I could have said yes and these are my parameters, or yes, but I can't really do this, or I need some assistance with this, or I need some clarification. It's like you get wait you miss that deadline entirely to say that, and then what I'm realizing is that I put myself in a position where my defense mechanism says I have to be a jerk because I can't say no to this now, and
Right.
that's not healthy. You know what I mean?
No, and also it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's just, and it makes me feel conflicted all the time. I'm being
Yeah,
vague
that's
for a reason. You know
I
what I mean,
appreciate
though?
I appreciate that feeling conflicted all the time.
Yeah, it's like I kind of did
Sucks.
this to myself.
Right.
And here's the thing, like anybody around you in those scenarios can be upset or not acting appropriately or whatever. That's none of my business. What my business is like, okay, what did I learn from this? How do I handle the need to people please in the future so I don't put myself in a position where I'm feeling trampled on later?
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
funny. I
just,
mean, that's like it's communication is key.
yeah.
And
But
sometimes it's hard.
sometimes
Okay, all the time.
it's fucking hard.
It's
Like
hard.
for
But
me,
even just to be able to say, like somebody proposes project X,
mhm.
and I think, well, that's interesting. I have a lot going on right now, but I mean, that doesn't seem entirely, that seems like something maybe, yes, but here are the problem things that are going to be a problem for me with that. And you
Yeah.
list, A, B, C. And if they say, oh, we can totally work around that, not a big deal. And then you could
Mhm.
say, oh, cool. Well, I'm in. And if they say,
Mhm.
well, B and C are kind of showstoppers for us, and you say, well, thanks for asking me.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's it.
That's the vibe I need to bring into the next situation. Is
Mm-hmm.
like, and that's what I'm learning is that uh I needed to state concerns about whatever early on, and it would have been helpful to everyone involved instead of right
Right.
now where I'm feeling like I got a case of the fuckets and everybody's requests feel like unreasonable demands when they're really not.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. They're just
Because
requests.
they're just requests, but because
Mm-hmm.
I denied myself, because I betrayed myself or didn't speak up.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes, I
that's,
do.
you know what I'm
100%.
saying? You know what I'm
I
saying?
intimately,
Yeah.
excruciatingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Ugh.
That's fucking, it's just like, dude, can we just
Be a fully functional human being.
someday,
Ah,
can I just have,
progress, not perfection, my friend.
can I just have the shitty tools that I have right now? Can they just be enough? Do I still have to learn new
That's
tools all the
This
time?
came up in conversation with my kids the other day. I used to work with a guy who made the comment. He said, I don't really like people. So, but I seem to get along with them okay. And I said, well, that's funny because I kind of like people, but I have a very hard time getting along with them. And he said, wow, between the two of us, we're almost one functional human being.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like, I just, you know, the, the lessons we have to learn until we learn them are sometimes like, I didn't think I was going to talk about this, but here we go. Like, there's some things recently where I had to kind of stand up for myself in
Right.
a metaphorical way. Like I got to stand up for my time and boundaries, and I was trying to do it in a healthy way. But uh, I hurt my back literally standing up from a chair this week, right? So
I'm laughing with you, not
I
at
know
you.
I
With you.
literally stood up in a chair in an environment where I was standing up for myself with some other people, right? And I was talking to Kirsten about this, and
Oh my gosh.
she's talked a little bit about this, like,
Hey, the
her.
body stores the feelings.
That's what I'm saying, and like that sounds. I'm kind of a believer in that now because I'm like, it is too perfect
Mm-hmm.
that in this scenario, in the cauldron of me standing up for myself, I stood up and pinched my back, and my body is saying, "Hey, listen, like, you know."
That's like a scene straight out of The Office or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's like too perfect. So I'm connecting the dots. And what happened was it was like I had to speak some truth, and then I felt great about it. And then the next day I was in a similar scenario, and I stood up out of a chair and hurt myself. And it was like my body said, "Hey man, this is scary to do. Slow down. Take care of
Right.
yourself." Like, or my body was trying on a somatic level to, oh no, there's danger if we stand up for ourselves, like, and having to like be compassionate to the experience externally and the experience internally is a whole new paradigm for me.
You just made me tired again.
Steve fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep, but I'm like, oh boy,
Yeah.
ugh.
And this is
I
what I'm
just,
saying. I'm like, why can't I just coast, man?
hey, that's,
Why do I?
if you're not, what is it? If you're not growing, you're going.
Yeah.
That's, I was in a sales demo meeting at my work the other day. And I was kind of interested in this product, but I thought I wanted to get a couple of the other departments involved because I thought I really needed their input to see if this was even going to be valuable.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we've been through. It's a long story. The short version: we went through this conversion. It was a shit show. We're a year and a half later. We're still dealing with it, and it's not going great. And
Hmm.
and this product that I was evaluating, there was a widget that might integrate with the main product, and
Hmm.
uh and so I wanted to see kind of what that could, and the guy, like the tech sales demo guy, he just started throwing it like the way I would have started that call would be like, okay, what are some needs that you guys have that are kind of centered around what our product does? Like, how do you see, based on the limited amount of information you have, like what are problems that we could solve for you, right? And they could start saying, well, we have this and this and this. Instead, what he launched right into is, we have 1,000 configurable fields and you can make this do anything you want it to do. Use your imagination and see what. And we didn't even know what it was like. What? And I mean, I was so disappointed because I could just tell it was over Zoom, and I could just
Hmm.
tell the complete lack of. I mean, we're all so burned out of configurable fields. We don't give a fuck. You could have 20,000 configurable fields, and it'll just make us hate your product more.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
tell us about all the ways you can configure the thing. Don't care. That conversation made me exhausted
Yeah.
because I had to say things like, "Look, can we stop talking about the other big product? Because that's not really what, like, at one point I said, look, we've been dealing with broken workflows pretty much constantly for the last year and a half. We're very tired of workflows. Don't talk to us about we can make more workflows because we don't care. I said that quote.
Yeah.
We don't care how many workflows you can make. We want to know how this can solve our problems.
Right. We don't need more workflows.
We don't. I mean, even if the solution is more workflows, just saying that we can work with this other vendor that you already hate to, and that, by the way, hasn't finished building their workflows that were supposed to be done a year and a half ago. So the idea of trying to get them to work with this other third party, I mean, like, you're totally missing the
keep the main thing here.
Tell us how your thing can solve our problems.
Yeah.
Not all the esoteric minutia things that it technically has. I don't care what it has. I want to know what it can do.
There's a spiritual lesson in that right there. Is it you can get really, you can't see the forest for the trees sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't.
I mean, this guy literally just started flipping through all these screens with all these check boxes and drop down menus of configurable things. And I'm like, you've lost all of us after like 20 seconds. Don't care. I want this call to be over. Yeah. Yeah. And then just as to wrap that thing up, because I had a lengthy conversation with, like, basically a sales guy, and he was nice and I liked him. We had to talk for an hour, so he's like, well, let's get your other people in and we'll get my guy in. And so after we got off that call, whatever, he said, well, clearly this isn't really going to meet your needs, but maybe the core thing was, I'll send you a quote. And he sent me a quote, and it was like so infinitely much more money than I ever would have spent on it in the first place.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, well, now I know.
Yep. Yeah. Whatever. It can really be. Yeah. I think how I instigated that conversation about workflows because of getting too in the weeds about my body, mind, spiritual experience, right? So, like, you can, I mean, it is interesting to ponder that stuff, but I definitely can get distracted and exhausted from trying to figure out all that stuff. Like what you said, I don't need to know all the universal ramifications of what I'm experiencing. I kind of also need to come back down to earth and realize, what is it going to help me do?
Right.
What's the lesson that's right in front of me? Because otherwise I'll just lay.
Well, then we're back to mental masturbation.
Exactly. I'll just lay on the floor staring at the ceiling. Like I'm not going to leave the house.
Which that seems like old behavior.
Yes, that's very much old behavior. That's like right my sweet spot, man. Definitely go full on Howard Hughes, not leaving my house, peeing in bottles
without his money.
Right.
Yeah.
Repeating phrases over and over again, like works if you work it. Works if you work it. Works if you work it.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
You got to get out there and make a mess a little bit. You got to go out there and try some shit.
I think that's the key. That's what it all boils down to, is like, we're still, I think I've said it before on the podcast one time when I was working for this large construction company, like the vice president of operations, who was a formidable person.
Right.
Like, he'd been running not just construction, like concrete construction crews, but people that run concrete construction, like he was kind of a rough and tumble guy that had, now had an executive position basically due to longevity and hard work, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so he could be a little crusty, right? And I was just the new IT guy,
Yeah.
And I remember one time I was in the bathroom, and this guy came in and he's using the urinal next to me, and he how you doing, Rar? I was like, he knows my name. And I said, and I weirdly was just like, I'm chewing on this problem. I'm not, like I feel like I'm working on this thing. It's not going very well. And he just went, only person doesn't make mistakes, person not doing anything.
Mm,
Have a good day. And he left. And I was like,
nice.
that was actually really nice. You know,
Yeah.
the only person that doesn't make mistakes is somebody not doing anything. And I thought, that's solid. That was solid.
That is solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I chew on that like, yeah, trying to be better means going out there and fucking it up. It doesn't mean going out there and doing it perfect.
Right.
And I think that there's been part of my issue is like, for a lot of reasons, me not doing anything was doing a bunch of stuff thinking it was making other people happy.
Wait, say that again.
Me not doing anything was me out there trying to please other people and trying to make them like me in certain areas and for certain reasons.
By not doing things.
By not doing what I felt was right. By denying. Do you know what I mean? Like the thing that I hear when you say that phrase, the thing that I should be doing is speaking, giving my perspective instead of just grinning and bearing it. Obviously, there's some of that needs to happen in a late capitalistic society where productivity is king. But that doesn't mean you can't. I think I was kissing the wrong ring for a little bit.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Like I was looking for validation from people that it didn't really matter. So I was kissing the wrong ring and realized like what certain collaborators really want is for you to actually have a take, have a perspective.
Yes. Well, those are those are the people you want to work with.
Yeah. And so I realized I'd kind of had things skewed for a while, and I'm kind of it hit a boiling point. I'm like I'm kind of done kissing the wrong ring here, and I need to not kiss any rings, but like take the right action, take a wise action that is not necessarily to make other people happy. It's like to be in the arena and in the mix.
Yeah. And the phrase fully actualized is coming to my mind. I don't know if it's actually directly applicable, but that's to be a full human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working on that one.
And realizing that like when you kind of realize that and you kind of go towards some of those things and you step out into that kind of scary as a nervously centered people pleasing person, like it's really scary to be like, I disagree with this way we're doing this, or I don't see it this way, or to kind of put yourself out on a limb means not everybody's going to love that, and people might not react to that, and that's
okay.
Yeah, but yes, it is okay, but sometimes it doesn't feel okay, and that's what I'm feeling.
Well, that's how you get. That's where there's kind of the difference between a group conscience and being a despot. Right? Group conscience is people say, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't looked at it that way. Maybe let's discuss that and we'll take another vote or whatever. Let's see if maybe that's. And then there's my way or the highway. It's either my way or your head, your choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you start doing that and you're around people that are my way or the highway, it becomes painfully clear. But it's like the Wizard and the Wizard of Oz, right? There's like, oh, there's nothing
Once
there.
You pull back the curtain, you're like, wait a minute, you don't have any clothes.
Yeah.
You're just pulling levers. Stories, but
it's a lot of fire and brimstone and loud voice, but it's like you don't really. Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna try to get back to Kansas. So you want to help or not?
Right.
Like the big show isn't helping us here.
Right. Like that is a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Noise.
effort to get the same message across,
Right.
Like you could
Right.
lead one way, you could lead that way, or you could lead with your heart. But sounds like a lot of wasted resources to try to project the big head and fire and
Right.
the
Right.
Wizard
Right.
of
Yeah.
Oz.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, life lessons with Joel and Steve.
We're not authorities.
No, we're not.
We're just bumbling along.
So true. So true.
Self-actualization in Maslow's hierarchy of needs is the highest level of psychological development where personal potential is fully realized after basic bodily and ego needs have been fulfilled.
Ego needs.
I was like, wait a minute. Those are never fulfilled.
Wait.
I'm
Is
doomed.
that where alcoholics and drug addicts kind of get stuck? We're like,
I
oh,
think
I'm
that
just gonna sit here in the ego needs for a while and see if that works.
right until I die.
Just keep stuffing food in myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And sex and shopping and
And
booze and
rock and roll and laziness and
yeah. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't seem all bad.
Yeah, there's a difference between I think there's a difference between apathy and rest. And I think in this country
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
we've somehow vilified rest.
Oh, no. So here we go. So this is like, I'm looking now at like the hierarchy of needs represented by a pyramid, which is a little bit. So the baseline is physiological, like safe, like shelter,
Right.
food, water,
Right.
shelter, food, water, safety, being able to defend yourself from the woolly mammoth or whatever thing. Um, Belonging and love is next. So having a
Mm-hmm.
group and the next one is esteem. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Next up is cognitive.
Okay.
Next one is as aesthetic. So
Oh.
having things, I guess I'd need to read a little bit more about that, but that's interesting. Um, Safety. Oh, here we go. Aesthetic. I'm literally now just reading about this now. Aesthetic. After reaching one's cognitive needs, it would progress to aesthetic needs to beautify one's life. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humans must immerse themselves in nature's splendor while paying close attention to and observing the surroundings to extract the world's beauty. So here we go. Thank you, artists.
Thank you, Art. Well, yeah, because that's a trip because I literally work in the arts, but in between my ears, my fear and anxiety, like you mentioned fear earlier, it presents itself like these things are the woolly mammoth or the saber-tooth tiger hiding in the grass, right? Like that
Right.
these interpersonal conflicts, which are a part of being alive, are so threatening that I can't get to cognitive or aesthetic because I'm thinking that all of these things are mortal danger. I mean, that's what anxiety tells me, right? Is that the thoughts, my stories about others, my body reacts as if they're going to kill me, which is totally not true. So the bridge from that is like, what do you say? Like cognitive, like being able to rationalize and understand that stuff isn't true.
Cognitive is, as I'm sitting here reading and not listening to you.
Thanks.
Yeah, sure. No, it's just interesting. It says, after esteem needs cognitive needs come next in the hierarchy of needs. That's a lot of needs. People have cognitive needs such as creativity, foresight, curiosity, and meaning. Individuals who enjoy activities that require deliberation and brainstorming have a greater need for cognition. Individuals who are unmotivated to participate in the activity, on the other hand, have a low demand for cognitive abilities. Fair. I like he says, from an educational viewpoint, Maslow wanted humans to have an intrinsic motivation to become educated people.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting if you look at it on a larger, wider scale, where like the anti-intellectualism happening. Like, oh, you want to learn stuff? That whole
there's a strategic desire to thwart education and curiosity and critical thinking.
100%.
Because if people have that, then they can start, I don't know, wanting things like beauty and joy and peace and not oppression and war.
That's exactly right. Yeah, because the people will want
and
things like
bigotry.
beauty and joy and peace
Harmony.
instead of wanting to hurt them.
So we gotta cut off the education bit as much as we can, because if people get too educated, they're gonna want their world to be more beautiful.
Literally.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's actually literally correct. Yeah. And if people want the world to be more beautiful, then they're going to say things like, hey, maybe stop destroying the planet for profit.
Hey, maybe that group of people deserves to exist.
No. I mean, yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. That definitely tracks.
Well, and I feel like, so this is actually really interesting, because if you track it back to like safety needs, which is love, like, if you start saying they're coming after your safety needs,
yeah, wow,
I mean, that hits deep psychologically. They're coming after your safety needs.
So it's a strategic psychological warfare of
100%
manipulating anyone into believing that their basic safety needs are at risk.
Yes.
And if you do that, then you thwart somebody from actually progressing.
Yes. You keep them
being
stunned.
curious.
You keep them in this state of not being curious and just being angry at them.
Wow. So I'm having a bit of a trip here with my own current experience. I am internalizing that fear within and being a ruthless dictator to my own life by keeping myself in this state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Ooh.
And so if I can free myself from that shit, then I can point it out in the world. But I can't point it out in the world until I liberate myself within. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, actually. Podcast.
Forgot all about it.
Well, we've been doing this a while now, so
yeah.
But yeah, decapitate your mind.
Yeah,
I can't remember what that one was called. There was another one too that was I can't remember the name of it now.
But I mean, what I see is like, I can say that, like, you know, corporate media or politicians or shitty, you know, fascist, you know, groups are trying to do this to others, but not see that I'm doing it to myself, right? Like there is a ruthless dictator that is trying to keep my experience afraid and sick and stuck so that the world looks gnarly and I can't. And that's why like being joyful is an indication of a radical act in a dystopian experience.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
You know what I mean?
I think that's why, not to make it about the dead again, but I think that's why
I thought of that too.
They turn so many people off is because deadheads are so gleeful about their love for the Grateful Dead.
Right.
And it just bugs the shit out of people.
How dare they?
Yeah.
They look like idiots. They're so happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. Yeah. All these people just dancing around and being dancers and having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, you look like idiots. Fine.
Those people should get a job. Those people should work more.
Those people should get a job, right? Actually, we work really hard.
Yeah, those people should work hard so that they can be miserable like me, because that's what life is for.
That's exactly correct, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
They should be miserable like me. How dare they?
How fucking dare they?
Right, yeah.
I shared this thing on Facebook, and because it was just kind of really something that spoke to my whatever anti-capitalist affirmations.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
You ready for? I'm going to share this with the world.
Yeah, go.
Anti-capitalist affirmations. I am allowed to spend my time creating things even if they are not beautiful. There is no such thing as a real job. All forms of work are real and valid. There is nothing that I need to accomplish to be worthy. I am already worthy. Doing nothing is good for my soul. I am not defined by what I produce. My worth cannot be measured by my paycheck, my job title, or a list of professional or academic achievements. I do not need to monetize my hobbies. It is enough to spend time doing something I love. I will not let society decide what success looks like. I can define what successful life looks like for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Now up against the wall.
Yeah. 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 Mm.
Hmm.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, somebody chimed in on that thread, though, and it was like, I would argue the only way that someone can enjoy those is in a capitalistic society. And I was like, it's not
Okay.
true, man. Okay. I mean, but that's why they're anti-capitalist. Because you can't be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that, but there is something radical about peace and joy and rest and doing things just for the sake of enjoying them instead of needing to monetize them or feeling guilty about rest or enjoyment or creativity because you should be monetizing your time.
Yes. All the time.
That's why it's kind of nice that we've never really tried to monetize this, dude.
Right.
We've
Joke
discussed
about it. Yeah.
but like,
Then it'd become work.
yeah,
Hmm.
fuck work.
I'm not anti-work.
I'm not
I like
anti-work.
working,
I
but I like working on things that are, meaningful to me
right.
and that I think are good for the larger picture.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that I just haven't felt the power to create that environment. I mean, I have in certain
Mm.
ways for sure, but I realize that I can do better to lead with that attitude of like what I have to contribute in the places that I'm at, the spaces that I'm at, whether that's in communities or recovery or at home, family, work, what I have to contribute is valid, you know?
Yes, and
Like,
what I've been hearing you say for the last, I don't know, couple 3 weeks, I think what's happening, and I'm saying this as your friend now, is that what I'm seeing is you um like reaching another level of existence. Like you're
hmm,
really kind of you're going through this birthing process
hmm,
of um becoming more self-actualized as a leader, just
yeah,
becoming a better
yeah,
leader and
yeah,
because you're starting to affect change around you, and that's uncomfortable, but it's also, I see you doing it in a way that's appropriate and probably effective, and that's going to you're going about in a way different than taking your ball and going home.
yeah.
you're
Which,
you're having difficult conversations, which is part of leadership. And I struggle with that area, but I mean that's really what, when it comes down to, like, that's a large part of leadership, is can you have a difficult conversation in a constructive fashion?
hmm,
That's,
yep,
I mean, that's a large part of it. And that can be, at a secret meeting, business meeting, or it can be with the CEO of a company. It can be,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because we know the people at meetings that are business meetings that spout and bluster and waste people's time, grinding some axe that's 20 years old, just like, God, shut up.
yeah.
This gets us nowhere.
Gets us nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a clear indication of somebody trying to hold on to what they feel is the only way to do it.
Right.
But anyway, thank you for saying that. I appreciate your reflection, man, because like
Yeah.
you know me longer than this thing, you know,
Yeah,
and
100%. But I mean, like,
I
that's really like that. I kind of had that feeling. I don't remember the specific conversation. I was like, after we hung up or whatever, I thought, Joel's really, there's some growing going on there.
yeah, and it feels like pain in my back when I stand up.
Yeah, that's growth. That's
You
growing
know?
pains.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that because there is the trauma response of, yeah, I'm going to take my ball and go home. because this is too scary to try to do something about. But I couldn't do that,
Right.
Like, oh, well, grow or go, like you said, grow or go.
Yeah.
Let it grow.
Well, that's exactly right.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
I am.
I
Right?
am. Yeah. That's
Wow.
intense stuff, huh? Isn't it?
Yeah, there it
Mhm.
is.
We're not quite to angels dancing on a pin level yet, but
Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
right. Far out.
Far out.
I
What
think
else
we
is
did
going
it.
on? I think we did it.
I think we did it. Yeah. Nothing. I'm going to take another nap, I think. I think what I might do is lay on the couch
Mm,
and watch Babylon Berlin on Netflix.
there you
Have
go.
you watched
I've
that?
heard of
Do you know what that
this.
is? It's
Yeah.
very good. I like it a lot. It's very good. Watch it in
Uh,
German with subtitles. Don't
yeah.
watch the English dub because it's awful. It turns a really great show into something awful.
Yeah. My colleague a few years ago told me to watch that, and I started it, but I
Mhm.
didn't really follow through
It
with
takes a
it.
minute to get into it, but it's intense. It's
Yeah.
very well done. It's kind of um I mean, at first I thought like, oh, well, this is just them trying to recreate Peaky Blinders,
Right.
just kind of because it's that time
Yeah.
period, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's way more nuanced. It's less violent. It's better written.
Little. It's kind of like sort of the beginnings of the
The Third
fascist
Reich.
state. Yeah.
Yeah,
The Third
100%.
Reich.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
start like it starts like this. That's just kind of blowing through the breeze a little bit. And I just started the third season, and that's getting a little more upfront.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's not really even the focus of the show necessarily. A
Right.
little bit, and it probably will be in this third season a little more. But yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the feel good hit of the summer, but it's definitely worth watching. And oh my God, Ted Lasso.
Dude,
I just can't
it's
even with that show because it's so
so,
amazingly wonderful and
it's so
delightful,
great.
and I love all of them.
I do too. It's like wholesome, good content.
It's wholesome, good content. It's good, clean fun. Like
Good, clean
actually, and
fun.
I'm not even saying that facetiously or sarcastically.
Yeah.
It's just genuinely delightful.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Another show like that Kirsten and I are fully steeped in is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Have you ever watched that?
I started it and then I dropped off. Should I go back in?
You should go back. Yep. Yep. It's in its last season right now, but it is
Uh-huh.
just, I mean, the production value alone is worth it, but the sort
Uh-huh.
of the theatricality of everything.
Okay.
Rachel Brosnan is great in it.
Is
Tony
she related to
Shalhoub.
Pierce Brosnan?
Maybe. I didn't even think that.
Okay. Well,
But
Tony
Tony
Shalhoub,
Shalhoub plays
he's
her
great.
father. He is captivating. He's just amazing to watch.
Okay. All right. That's good.
I got to perform in front of him once, and he said
Really?
good things about my comedic performance. Yeah, he came to a production of Much Ado About Nothing. I played Dogberry, and he said that he's like really great comedic stuff. I'll never forget what he said. He's like great comedic stuff. I was like, Tony Shalhoub thought I was funny.
That's validation. That's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, man. So Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Kirsten, it's
Okay.
just beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go to a rehearsal. I'm gonna go to a stage reading rehearsal, man. I'm stoked on that.
Hit me up with the deets on the reading because I might like to check that out. And I think today, maybe if I venture out, it's going to be to go to the Elder Gallery.
Oh yeah.
I wish that this was going to come out before 1 p.m. today, but it's not.
Right.
But big ups to Dave Gracie and the Elder Gallery at Nebraska Westland.
It's a really cool space, and he does a fantastic job sort of curating that.
Yep, and this is the senior thesis exhibit, so I think that's worth checking out.
For sure. Definitely go
Let's see.
check out all the art in your area. Go see Steve's band. Come see my stage reading of the Nietzsche play. Nietzsche. I don't know. 2 p.m. May
Nietzsche was a
7th.
philosopher. Sorry.
May 7th at Turbine Flats at 2 p.m. Toot your hooter.
Toot your hooter.
It all comes back to that.
Yeah,
Toot
really.
your damn hooter.
Toot your damn hooter. Let your freak flag fly.
Dude, that's always a scary phrase for me to say because I know I'm going to botch it and say something horrible. So I'm glad you took the mantle on that.
I do what I can.
Let it grow, baby.
Let it grow. All right, man. Love you.
Love you too.
Later.
Morning comes, she follows the path to the river shore. Light the sun is the latch on the morning star. See the sun sparkle in the reeds, silver peas fast to the sea. She comes from a town where What shall we say? Shall we call it by name? Dancing on the wind. On the right hand strive for what you can. Will not speak but stand inside the rain. Listen to the thunder shout. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Don't forget, toot your hooter.